What's cooking Wednesday? We are doing spicy bacon onion burgers today. We're using GrillGrate product, GrillGrates, which are absolutely phenomenal. We're going to have a little bit of fun. This is a great Father's Day cook. Spend the time with the kids. Do a quick burger grill for Saturday night if you want. We do sell the GrillGrates and everything here in store, and a couple of the products we're using, like these brand new, super cool Gunther Wilhelm knives. We got some nice chef's knives. We got some kind of middle of the road, really good steel, but middle of the road handles to be kind of affordable. If you're looking for a good gift for dad, kind of in the $25 to $35 range for most of those. So these are going to be fun, but I'm going to show you what we're doing. So we got some really good quality beef here. This is an 80-20 cab beef. We got some Hacks chili cheese. Got some nice, I'd say homemade buns. They're not homemade buns, but they're from the local bakery. Got some cattle call seasoning. Gonna toot that horn because that'll be fun. And then we got our Legacy 132 equipped with a full run of GrillGrates. We're currently cooking bacon on it right now, which is getting crispy and beautiful. Now I like to start the bacon before I do the burgers because it doesn't take, or it takes a little bit longer than some of the burgers do, and it also gives a nice kind of greasy coat onto your griddle. So we always start with the bacon first if you can. But I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to start our onions. So just going to go ahead and cut these into rings. And we're going to be cooking these directly on the GrillGrates today to get some nice char marks on them. You can cook them as al dente or as overcooked as you like. But we like to go ahead and get them on there for the char marks. You can season your onion too. It's always good to season throughout your cook. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of cut these into probably 1/4 inch pieces. You probably get 3 or 4 of them out of a medium-sized onion. And I like to leave them together, so instead of separating them into individual rings, you kind of leave it almost as an onion steak. So you got them like that, and we're going to throw them right on the GrillGrate, but not before I hit them with just a touch of duck fat, so you got something to stick to them, and we hit them with some cattle call. So go ahead and season those up. Again, it's good to season all the way throughout your cook. Add some nice flavor. So I will take these onions, move them as a whole steak. We're going to put them directly on the GrillGrate. Get some beautiful lines on them. Now when it's all said and done, if you don't want to keep them whole, you can break them up after they're done grilling. We'll go ahead and leave that open. I'm going to get that nice and hot. We're going to start on our burgers. Now, there's several things you can do to kind of gussy up burgers so they're not something that is completely normal. Sometimes what I like to do, we're not doing it today, but I'll give you the little hint, is I like to take some Worcestershire sauce and I like to drizzle it on, kind of let it soak down into the metal. Man, it is hot out here today, especially when you got a 600-degree grill behind you. But I like to, drizzle it with some Worcestershire sauce is good. They make really cool garlic Worcestershire. They make some barrel-aged Worcestershire that's wonderful, kind of bourbon barrel. So that's a great option for you to do. Or you can just kind of use your standard oil. So we're going to hit it with some oil today. We're going to do a good coating. These are thick burgers. We're going to do a good coating of our seasoning. We're using cattle call here today. That's available at the grill store. It's an SPG style seasoning, but it's got some citrus and some herb in it. It's made for beef. It's great on chicken and pork and everything else, but it's made for beef. So it really shines. Because these burgers are so thick, you can use a lot of that seasoning on them. So we'll take them, flip them over. Always important to season both sides because you eat both sides. I'm going to hit them with some duck fat one more time. Get a good seasoning on that side too. Now, when you're talking GrillGrates, you have a couple different options. GrillGrate brand GrillGrates are an addition that you put on top or in place of your current GrillGrates. They make it for all kinds of grills. And we have the one size for our Hasty Bakes here at the grill store. My bacon's just about done. Crispy, crispy. Get a couple more. Another minute on that, and then we'll pull it. That's the joy of live fire cooking when you're on camera, is you got to try to keep track of all this stuff. But GrillGrates have one side that's fins, they're blades, and they leave amazing sear marks. You can take those GrillGrates and flip them over and use the bottom side as a griddle. Now, as I drop my, hopefully the wind's not bad because I just dropped my window screen. As you put them on, if you keep them on a flat side on a griddle, it works just like a flat top griddle. If you put them on the other side, you get good grill marks. So you're going to notice the grill marks that we're getting on this bacon are a direct result, hello, of our GrillGrates. Now you can do your burgers on the fin side if you'd like, and we'll do one like that so you can see it. Or you can press them down hard on the flat top and get them done that way. We're going to let that bacon set aside to rest. My GrillGrate temp currently is 560 on that side and about 530 on that side, which is right where I want it. That's wonderful. Going to get some good marks on them. Going to move these onions all the way to the back. Give me some room for my burgers. See if I got any marks on there to kind of show you. Not quite yet. We're getting there. If you notice your GrillGrates are getting a little dry during the cook, go ahead and hit some seasoning oil on them. Careful, oil and fire is flammable. I have my fire all the way down to the bottom, kind of in the smoke position. I'm going to crank it just a hair up, but all that charcoal's lit. So when you're cooking on some type of a griddle, be it a drop-in griddle or a GrillGrate type griddle, you want to get your fire really nice and hot. It's going to make a big difference on being able to get your sear marks in. Now that we got these all done real nice, we're going to go ahead and take these burgers. We're going to put them on. And I like to press them down just a little bit, kind of like you would a steak when you're trying to get your grill marks. It's going to bite that fin of those GrillGrates right down into your burger. Create a really nice little grill mark for you. And for anybody questioning duck fat, it is back in stock now. We can't keep this stuff in stock, it's so popular. But we got a new shipment of it this week, so we are loaded up for you right now. Now I've loaded up my GrillGrates with onions and burgers. So I'm going to take these other two burgers so you can see the difference. I'm going to put them on the flat top side. Hear that sizzle. Love that sizzle. We're going to let those cook. Now, it is a pretty thick burger, so they might be cooking for a while, so I'm just going to have to talk to you. But that is half the fun. So, we got our onions starting to be charred here. We got our bacon done and off. My cheese is sitting mellowing, and what we're going to do now, this cutting board right here is a little, it hadn't had anything. It's got onions and oil on it. That's good enough. I like onions and oil both on my bread. So we're going to go ahead and take these buns and get started with them. Going to come in here. You want to use a good sharp knife, hopefully not crush them. So if you don't have a serrated blade with you, which we do have serrated blades, but I'm stupid and didn't grab one, just kind of use the edge of your blade to go around, stick it about halfway in, and you'll eventually meet with the middle. Just have a little piece in the middle and do that. So we're going to go ahead and get these cut going. A true proper burger that's taken care of using quality ingredients, you always want to make sure you do everything you need to do to make sure that burger is over the top. So that means we are going to go ahead and grill the bun as well. It doesn't take that much time, and it really adds to the flavor of that completed burger. We're going to use a little trick on these buns though. Instead of buttering them or using oil, which you can do, we're going to use the old mayo trick. Butter, fat, any kind of fat is a really good browning effect on bread. So I could spray it down with some duck fat if I really wanted to. Instead of using duck fat, I'm going to go ahead and use mayo. So here's how you handle that. Is just squirt these things down with just a little bit of mayo. Just enough to be able to smear it around. And then we're going to go ahead and put it on the flat top when we get close to being done. Got my trusty mayo spreading knife. You don't want to soak it in so much that you're just caking it with mayo, but you want a nice little layer of fat. Now, mayonnaise, if you've never made mayonnaise or you've never looked into what mayo is, it's really just oil and egg and some salt, things like that. So it's a good fat base for browning. So some people use it on toast, some people use it on corn when you're cooking corn on a flat top. There's a lot of stuff you can do to kind of brown with mayonnaise. And we are going to go ahead and do that today. Now, I like using these airy buns, and the reason being is because when you got a big, thick burger like we're cooking today, that burger wants to leach out a bunch of juice. Now, we're going to let those burgers rest before we put it on the buns, but as that juice leaks down, kind of fills the bottom, soaks into all those crevices on the buns. So it's got a good airy top. It's got a good solid base to kind of soak up that juice. Looking really good. All right, checking my onions. They're looking good. I'm going to give them another little spritz of oil just to brown them up. You can see the fat is starting to render, specifically on the flat top side, just because that's what it does on a flat top. We're pretty far away, but just to give you an idea, I'm going to go ahead and put a little thermopen in here to check our temperatures. I want to see how far away we are. So they're probably still pushing 70 degrees. They're going to be a little bit of time. That's completely fine. Now you know that they're just about done on their sear when they come popping off and you don't have to scrape them off the grill grate. So when it's created enough of a Maillard effect on there that it seals up that meat, that's when that thing releases. Kind of like when you're frying an egg. If you have to peel the egg off the bottom of that skillet, that egg's probably not done, but as soon as it's going ahead and caramelized enough that it seals itself, then you'll be able to kind of pop it off that skillet. So same kind of concept with these. Now when you're cooking with charcoal on a griddle, normally you want to leave that lid wide open to let as much heat as get there possible, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to temp these. These grill grates are hot enough that at 600 degrees that I'm not worried about them not getting hot enough. So I'm going to go ahead and close that and use that convection effect of the Hasty Bake to basically bake some heat into those burgers. It'll bring up the internal temperature in that burger a lot faster and kind of get them baked through. Same kind of concept of searing a steak if it's a real thick steak. A lot of times you don't want to leave it on the fire as hot as you can. You want to be able to close that lid down, use the convection to bake it kind of like an oven effect on that steak. Have any questions so far, Jennifer?
No, everybody's enjoying.
Who's with us? Who's watching today?
Rob Taylor, Alan Parker, Kevin Sanders, Jeff Edwards, Bill Bond, Ashley Hacker, Dirk Mullins. He wants you to send him a couple.
Dirk Mullins wants me to send a couple burgers.
Uh-huh.
They might be cold. Why don't you come on down and cook with me, Dirk?
Walton McDaniel, Wes Coleman, Sean Walker, Donna Bond, and Bill Collier.
All people that I love. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing. You guys are good, solid engagers. I appreciate it. I'm going to show you the grill marks we got on that bacon and the crispiness we were able to get on that bacon. I mean, you can see this. It holds up under its own weight. It's got some good grill marks. You also get some phenomenal flavor. Now, for me, the key to cooking bacon when you put it on a burger is you don't... What in the world is that sound? Is that an airplane? We got planes, trains, automobiles, road construction, bombs going off. It's a lot of fun. When I cook bacon for a burger, I don't like to cook bacon on a burger until it's crispy, because when you bite into that burger, it kind of breaks up. You lose it in pieces. So I like leaving it just a hair less than crispy. Got a little bit of give to it. It cuts easier. It hangs on to the burger nicer. And it also has a little bit of unrendered fat left that'll kind of seep into that burger as well. So that's always a favorite of mine, is just undercooking the bacon just a hair. It's still safe to eat, but it's not quite crispy.
What are your Father's Day favorites when you're grilling?
Mine? I'm a steak guy. We're cooking some good grass-fed steaks this weekend, I think. Good garden vegetables are always fun. Baked potatoes. Was tempted to do a brisket this week, but brisket prices are like $9,000 right now. Getting some grill marks on there. Little trick when you're cooking steaks or you're cooking burgers on your grill grate, rather than coming in and just lifting directly off, put your grill grate spatula underneath and kind of give them a little pop. And check the grill marks underneath and see how good of a mark they're leaving without misplacing it, getting your marks all screwed up, and without sticking and having the burger kind of get lost. These are starting to melt down. These will be good. See what's going on with my onions. Oh, those are looking good too. Tongs are your friend when you're doing something like onions on here. Good grill marks on your onions. That's what you're looking for. Now, when you flip them over, I think we only season these onions on one side. So now that we're flipping, go ahead and take an advantage to add just a little bit of flavor.
David Foster wants to know the best way to clean the grill grate.
David, that's a great question, and a lot of people have a hard time cleaning grill grates because there's a lot of nooks and crannies in them. You got some really good options. GrillGrate makes 2 or 3 different cleaning products. They make a scraper, They make a kind of a wire brush that goes in between. They also make a nylon brush. You have to use that when the grill grates are cold. But normally what I like to do with them is I hit them with a good wire brush to just kind of knock the top off of them. If they're still hot and all my food's off, sometimes I'll come back with a spritz bottle of water and I'll hit them and kind of let them steam, and I'll hit them with a scraper again. Worst comes to worst, if they're beyond repair, if they're completely gunked up, you've gone too long without cleaning in between them, you can come in there, scrape off what you can, throw them in the dishwasher if you wanted to, or soak them in a tub with some Blue Dawn. It'll break up all that grease, kind of get them back to normal for you. One of the downfalls of grill grates or anything like a grill grate is just there's a lot of nooks and crannies in there that you have to try to clean. So whatever works easiest for you. Honestly, soaking them in a hot tub of water with some Blue Dawn is probably the most thorough way to do it after you get a good scrape on it. But everyday use, I hit them with that grill brush, and 9 times out of 10 they're fine. Now when it comes to like our competition steak cookers where they want them really clean, you're going to be coming back from that competition and probably soaking them in Dawn. You can also take them when you got some real hot fire, crank your fire up, flip them upside down and let all that stuff kind of burn off. That helps get the big chunks off. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. You just kind of got to figure out which one works for you.
Now, people are wanting some close-up.
We can do that. You want to bring it on over? Have to see what's going on here. So, yep, you got some onions right there. I'm going to go ahead and show you these grill marks on the burgers because we're going to go ahead and flip them. So, if you come up underneath, well, I'll do this and then go back. There's your grill mark right there. So I'm going to come and flip it 90 degrees and we'll get a good cross hatch on that grill mark. And if you're a fan of grill marks, these work great. If you're not a fan of grill marks, then go ahead and use the flat tops. I don't know if these will release from the flat top or not yet. I don't want to, yeah, it looks like it is. So I'm going to show you what happens when you come up underneath this. Look at that crust right there. That, my friends, is the crust you want. Now, if you're a smash burger fan, you can smash those down on the front end ahead of time. Make some good progress on getting those really smashy. Once you get a good crust, you don't really want to do it. You're going to push all your juices out. You guys see that? Yep. And then I'm going to go ahead with these onions. They're still going. I like to keep everything as moist as possible. So sometimes I'll come back in with that crust and hit it just with a little bit of duck fat. I think I did this one wrong because I really want to get the grill marks on it like that. They're going to be getting up there in temp though. The flat top ones are obviously going to cook a lot better. They're actually just about done. So here's a couple things you can remember. Is it's all about appearance and texture, right? So I just temp this flat top burger right here. I'm going to pull it off, stop it from cooking. Again, when you're cooking live, it's a good test, but this is pushing 150, okay? So 150 is actually a little more than I'd really want it to be for a burger. I'm a 145 guy myself, but you really want to get that good texture on that burger. 150 on that one too. So come on, bring that camera back. We're going to let those come off and rest and come down. If you're really worried about it kind of shooting back up, if you got a nice cooler or a refrigerator, you can go ahead and pop that in the refrigerator. It'll stop that cook. Go ahead and turn it just a little bit for me. The other way, perfect. But our other ones that we're cooking on the top here, they're pushing 105. So we're getting some more marks on them. I'm going to flip them here in a second. But now that my flat top is good, I'm going to take advantage of just scraping that down for a minute. We'll go ahead and get our buns toasted so we're not waiting for that. So we're going to take our good metal spatula, scrape all the junk off the flat top so we're not getting any burned meat on our buns. Now we do have fat already on there, so I'm just going to give it a really light coat of duck fat just to hit any dry spots. Also, don't keep your duck fat like I just did on the side. It'll get a little warm. I'm going to go ahead and put our buns on. So our mayonnaise is kind of soaking down in. These won't take too long, especially on a good screaming hot flat top. Just keep checking them. Get the right toast level that you're looking for. that's coming down in temperature good, so it looks like I hit a hot spot. So some of those are actually closer to 145, which is good. I love the texture, the Maillard effect you get on a steak or on a burger when you cook it on the flat top. It's got a good crunch to it. It's got a butteriness to it. All that seasoning really locks into that meat. One of my absolute favorites. The other thing too is it holds a lot of that juice in. So personally, I'd rather have a flat top burger than just anything, but the benefit of cooking on a grill grate or something like that, or even a flat top griddle on a grill like this, you get that smoke, you get that charcoal flavor, but you still get the benefit of the flat top. So it's better than cooking on a Blackstone or any other brand backyard propane flat top, because you're actually getting some of that flavor that you would normally get from charcoal. The way the grill grates are also made is there's little holes on the bottom that let the grease drip through, but it's not a whole pool of grease falling down on your fire, so it reduces grease flare-ups quite a bit. That's why a lot of people like them for competition. It makes it a lot more manageable, easy to manage fire. Already getting some good toast on these. I'm going to call those just about done. Always good to toast those buns. Adds a whole different depth of flavor. We're going to go ahead and flip these burgers now. I'll have to get a close-up of these flip burgers too, because man, they are looking absolutely beautiful. Now, one thing I do want to watch for, turn this back on, is I want to give these things enough time, which they're getting there right now, to get some cheese on them. I like a good melted cheese on my burger. I'm sure you do too. So we're going to go ahead and use a piece of good quality American cheese, but not too quality because the processed stuff melts really well. And then we're going to come back with a hatch pepper cheese on these. And remember, the grill marks are for two things. One, they look good. We just covered them up with cheese, but they look good. And two, they add a lot of depth of flavor. These onions are probably just about close to done. They're getting real close. They take a kind of a surprisingly long time, which is good because you can kind of cook them at the same time as your burger. Go ahead and close that down. Let that cheese melt. Go ahead and build the rest of our burgers as we go. Might as well get these buns going. I think how many did we make? We did 6 burgers, 4 buns. Do a couple more of these. You got some heat left, you might as well, right? Eat good for lunch. Again, just kind of putting the corner of your knife in. You're going about halfway into the bun so it doesn't completely collapse. Just go around in a circle. Break them open. Now we like to let that beef rest too, right? So by the time these things are done cooking, they'll come off for a rest. We'll get these buns done. We'll go ahead and assemble these burgers. And everything should be done about the right time. Now, the other thing I like to do sometimes, you got fresh jalapenos from the store, from your garden. You can always dice them, or not dice them, you can ring them, slice them in half. Go ahead and pull the seeds out of them, throw them on that grill, and you get some good grilled jalapenos to put on. I love doing a, where was I going with that? Mushrooms. You get portobello mushrooms, dice them out, run them into strips, even do a whole mushroom. It's a great topper. So many different options when you're doing burgers. I'm gonna call these burgers done too. That cheese is where I want it. Got good grill marks on it. While those are finishing, I'm going to take these other burgers that we had on here. I stopped them because they were cooking so fast. I'm going to throw them back on, char side down, put a little bit of cheese on them. I wanted to stop the cooking process, but I still want some cheese on them. So one trick that a lot of people kind of forget is that when you're dealing with food that's hot, we have this tendency that we want to make sure everything else is hot and it comes off, and you don't want to touch it. You don't want to leave it off the grill any longer than you have to. Get it on there, and you build up this freight train, this locomotive that's taking heat and shooting it through the roof. There's nothing wrong with taking something that's on the grill, and if it's cooking too fast, pulling it off and letting it rest, adjusting your grill, gathering yourself, figuring out what your game plan is, and then go ahead and put it back on. There's no problem pulling it off the grill like that. It's still going to be hot. You don't leave it off for 25 minutes, but it's still going to be hot. You can still go ahead and utilize the time and the space you have to reorient yourself. So, like I said, those flat top burgers cook really fast. Pull them off. We'll let them rest. They'll be good, but I want to get the cheese back on. So now that they've been off for about 8 or 10 minutes, we can kind of let that temperature kind of come back in without pushing them through the roof. Those will kind of be getting close to being done there. Do a little bit of cleanup. As soon as that cheese melts, which is just about there, our buns should be about done. How long have we been going, just so we know what the timeline is on this?
25 minutes.
25 minutes. All right, so we took the time, 25 minutes or so, to get these burgers done right, to do all the fun, fancy stuff for them. Those buns get a little dark. I like dark buns. They kind of have some good crunch to them. It's like a piece of toast. Just go ahead and take the bottoms, if you can find the bottoms. Build these things out. That's a top, that's a top. So many tops. All right. Pull these, get them resting in a pan. Pull our onions, get those resting with the bacon. Guys, be creative. There are so many things you can do on these combinations of flat tops and grill grates. Have tons of fun. Sometimes, if I got some people waiting or got a little bit extra time, I will, while everyone's kind of getting their burgers ready, I'll flip those grill grates over, oil them down, fry a couple eggs on top of them. Nice little royal burger going on. That's one of my favorites. So take your time with it, have some fun, get creative with it. We're going to go ahead and start building these burgers. Now, we did some mayo on these, but the mayo really just had kind of a blackening, browning effect on it. I love the crunchiness of that. You can see the browning on that. It's from all the fat of the mayo. We're going to go ahead and hit these just with a hair more mayo, just because I like mayo. If you don't like mayo, that's fine. We're going to put some mustard on for you too. But we'll do that. And then we got some good deli mustard. It's kind of a stone ground mustard. I like a little pop of flavor mustard on that burger. As a little kind of a vinegary bite. I like to put the bacon on the top. I feel like that's the way it's supposed to be on a burger, but it doesn't have to be. So, take those burgers. Start positioning. I'm loving the hatch pepper. I was able to find this hatch cheese at the local grocer. Got hatch peppers. It's basically a pepper jack, but it uses hatch peppers in the cheese. Anytime the hatch peppers are at the store, I'm going to buy them. They add a killer amount of flavor to it. So there's that. If you like more vinegar, you can put a little bit more mustard on top of it. I'm going to go ahead and take our bacon. Take our onion. And this is where you can kind of separate the rings a little bit if you like. I don't like a big steak of onion on top of my burger. I just like a little pop. If you don't like grilled onions, you can try some quick pickled onions. Those are really easy to make. Find a good recipe for it online. It doesn't take very long. You can do them overnight. And they add a wonderful kind of refreshing pop to your burger. If you like a little bit more of a raw onion flavor, you can just get a hot sear on them. These are a little bit thicker, so they're a little bit more raw. They're not raw, but a little closer to that al dente texture right there. What else am I missing here? I don't think I'm missing much. Looking for my towel, I don't know where that went. And our top buns. All right, my friends, get these out of the way so you can see them. That right there, our Father's Day special, our spicy bacon onion burgers with hatch pepper cheese. We did it all on the 132 Hasty Bake with a hot griddle. Got some wonderful Maillard effect on it, wonderful char, sear mark. Got some great cheese melt. We're gonna eat good for lunch today. I'm fairly confident. I'd bite into one of these, but I'd scream like a little girl because I'm sure they're super smoking hot. But if you come by in the next 5 minutes, I'll probably be sitting over here in the corner over a trash can munching on one. Any other questions for us today? Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Burgers, when you think in your mind of burgers, you think, man, they're so easy. I throw them on there. There's not much to it. But if you give just a little bit of extra attention to them, toast your buns, grill your onions, throw the bacon on there, get the smoke in the bacon, you can take that burger up to the next level and make it absolutely phenomenal. So thanks so much for joining us for What's Cooking Wednesday. We'll be back next week like we are hopefully every week. Subscribe, like, share on Facebook, do all the fun things you want to do, and join us for all the fun. We enjoy doing these, and we want to see you guys out here. So thanks again. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Be good to each other. Love on each other. We'll see you soon. Have a good one.